The Lost Art with Andrew Cox, retired Master Gunnery Sergeant. thelostart.podbean.com. Get some merchandise and help support the podcast in getting our veteran voices out for all to hear. Now on all major podcast platforms. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Be a guest, tell your veteran story, discuss your veteran business or organization. Email The Lost Art with Andrew Cox at gmail.com. Andrew Cox, a Till Valhalla Project Ambassador. See the project story at tillvalhallaproject.com. Thanks for tuning in. Please enjoy the podcast that's giving a voice to our veterans. The Lost Art with Andrew Cox.
Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Lost Art Podcast, that podcast giving voice to our veterans. I'm your host, Andrew Cox, and today we'll be having a fireside chat with the crew. But first, I want to take a second and just give a shout out to the Till Valhalla Project and their incredible work that they're doing to honor our fallen heroes. I'm honored to be able to be a part of their team and represent them as a Till Valhalla Project Ambassador. I encourage you to go visit their website, tillvalhallaproject.com, and see what they're all about. Don't forget to go to our website. That's thelostart.podbean.com. Click on that merchandise tab, go in there, get you some cool gear as well, and help support our mission. To all the listeners out there, thanks for tuning in, continuing to support us and what we got going on here, getting our veteran voices out for all to hear. All right, with that, I do have the crew. They are here, and we are going to go start out with round robin. We'll start today with Vic. Vic, how you doing?
Howdy, everybody. Life is good. Let's see. I was bartending all week long for a buddy so he could take a vacation. So I got to exercise my bartending chops and take me back to my college days for a week. It was nice. Let's see. Today's cigar is a cigar I've never smoked before, so I'm excited about this. This is a CLE. CLE is basically a branch off of Aroya. Excuse me. But this is their signature series. Signature series. And it's probably the longest name in cigar history. It's the THT TAC EKE 0317. So all that to say, it's a very long name for a cigar. But we'll see if the flavor has the same stature. I guess the company says that it's got earthy notes, a little bit of salty, maybe even a little bit of sweetness in it. So we'll see. It's got a Cameroon wrapper, but they refuse to publish anything else. So the binder and the filler is unknown. So don't know what is inside, but the outside is a Cameroon wrapper. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm excited about it.
Nice. Wow. That I'm curious to see what's inside it too, you know. So if you start acting a little funky, we'll know that it had the wacky tobacco in there. So, you know, hopefully it's not that. We're not there and we can't smell it. So, you know, it's all good. All right. Let's go over Krista. How are you?
I'm good. I'm glad to be back. And I missed you guys. I really did. We ate bread every night because we don't eat bread at home. Took a little cruise and they had bread service. So it was really, really wonderful. So I'm glad to be back. Too many people in the elevators, you know, on the cruise ship because it is a floating petri dish. But I still had a good time. It was good to get away, and I didn't have to feed my dogs and cats, you know, at 6 a.m. every day. So that was fine. But today I have I'm smoking today Antonio Cleopatra. And I have a 1993 Virginia Vintage Series, and it has a gold and a crimson wrapper, and it has a little bit of sweet and salty with hints of sugar and spice. And I've never smoked one before, so we'll see how it goes. Since it is a 1993 vintage, I'll see that if it gets better with age or not, and let you know how it goes. And if it do get better with age, or if it smokes the room out. So I'll give you my report at the end of the podcast.
Oh, nice. I like that. Another cigar review. Yeah, that's good. Cigars. All right. Yeah. All right, Aaron. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Raining here. I don't know if you can hear the rain in the background. If it gets too loud, then I will cease operations and move this thing into the house. But today I have a Macanudo Cafe Cristal. I didn't read much on it, but I'll give y'all a review at the end.
Okay. Wow, that's 3 cigars. We're doing pretty good. All right, Mike. How you doing?
Doing good. It's been a good week. It was actually cool here today. A cool 85 degrees. So I was able to get out and cut the grass. Yeah, after I got out this morning, literally at 8 o'clock, it said it was 78 degrees. I'm like, I got to get the grass cut. Got to get it cut. So went out and cut the grass, came in, got cleaned up, did some stuff around the house. And I was like, man, I don't have any beer. I'd like to have after cut the grass, got to have a cold beer. So I went up to the local Shell station and I was walking in and I was like, damn, a cigar would be good today. So I walked in and the guy, he kind of works security there and does stuff, older gentleman. I said, hey man, you guys sell cigars here? He goes, brother, we sell anything you need. I was like, okay. And I said, he goes, you need a cigar? I was like, yeah, I'm looking for a cigar. He goes, how much you want to spend? I was like, well, I'm willing to spend a little bit, but I don't want to spend a whole lot, And he goes, I got exactly what you need right here. And he reaches down under the counter, pulls out this skinny cardboard box, And he goes, I got just what you need. I don't have these out on the counter because not everybody can have them. But today I have a black and mild. This is a cigarillo.
Ooh.
Very nice, very nice. And he actually cut me a deal. He said, I don't sell a lot of these because of the price. I said, well, go ahead and give me one. And he goes, once you have one, you're going to want more. I said, well, what am I going to want? He goes, I'll cut you a deal. He said, I'll cut you a good deal. I said, okay. I put my 6-pack up on the counter and I was like, I don't really want to spend a lot of money, dude, trying to watch pennies. He goes, I'll sell you 2 for $3. I'm like, well, I'm in. 2 for $3. I mean, what else do you want? I'm like, dang. He said, you sure this is good? He goes, man, brother, I'm telling you right now, you will never smoke another cigar after you have one of these. I was like, he said, they've been around for a long time, but not many people know about them. I was like, okay. So I got home, and this is the second one because I already smoked the other one. And I did. The one thing I realized, and he told me, he goes, the best part about these, he said they had this protective wood tip so you don't burn your lips. I was like, that's even better, so that way I don't have to have a toothpick to hold it to get that out of the end.
Ooh,
Stuff like that. But the first one I smoked, it was first light was really good. It had, to me, it seemed like it had a nice blend of tobacco, very aromatic and flowery smelling. Depending on the kinds you get, I guess it could either be grape or cherry smelling and tasting. They're actually, my understanding is the grape ones are pretty good. I'll have to try one of those next. Had it
and
really
no
nice...
roach clip required.
No, it's just that little wood tip. But it had a nice ash. I would say that I don't think it was aged enough because it did have kind of a harsh, bittery taste, which I'm assuming was because the ammonia it's in the tobacco, because it had aged enough. It wasn't enough cure time. But other than that, it was. I would give it 6 cigarillos out of 10. It's pretty
wow.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah. That's a good deal. I like that. Yeah, that's awesome. Wow, man, everybody's doing it. Well, we do have Mark. He's listening in. He's driving down the road right now. He's going out doing stuff.
So I think I went to the same type of shop that Mike did because I had pretty much got the same deal on cigars as Mike did. So I came home and I put a couple really nice steak on the grill and getting ready for a nice little dinner outside out the back of the house. And so I was carrying my cigar out through the garage to get to the backyard to get to the barbecue. And I was going to fire it up while I was doing my steaks, right? Well, lo and behold, I didn't know my daughter was cleaning out the litter box, right? And so I came around the corner while she was carrying the box. We ran into each other. She dropped the box. I dropped the cigar. And then when I was looking through the pile and all the cigar shaped things that were on the ground. I couldn't decide which was the cat and which was the cigar.
Oh my God.
I now I missed out on enjoying a cigar, I guess.
Wow.
So I got no cigar story.
That's tough, man. At least you didn't try to light it up. I mean, I don't know what
Exactly. I wasn't going to take the chance of
cat poo.
lighting
Yeah,
a
it can't smell
cigar-shaped
good.
object. Yeah, I
I
wasn't
think
going
they
to
would
take
have
it.
called that a potluck.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, I don't want to be outdone, so I went and got me one. And this one's special though. I found this at a convenience store a while back here. It smells good. This is a oh, you can't see it. Here it is. This is a Mark Twain cigar. Yeah, it's yeah, I don't know much about them. It smokes, so there's that. But yeah, I didn't want to be outdone. I had to do one too. Our
I
reviews
have to
are
say
not.
that
I think if
imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, and I'm very flattered.
That's up.
oh my God, that's great.
That's how much we
Flattered.
missed you, Vic. That's how much we missed you while you were out on your road
We
trip.
missed you when you were gone.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love
I'm
you
not
guys
lighting
too.
this. It's 31 years old. I'm not lighting this. It will go up in flames.
That's the point.
No, I think she
I
big
lit
flames.
mine. I lit mine because they said it's a Robusto and it's smooth and it's supposed to be sweet, and so far it is. Just so y'all know.
Nice. All right. Well, I had a he's doing the heart thing. I had a pretty good week, I guess, and I went and was going to trim my beard. I was trimming, and I was like, man, that doesn't look good. I was like, let me trim a little bit more. I was like, that doesn't look good either. I was like, you know what? Now so I went and did a buzz thing with the highest setting I had, which was 10, and I went all the way around, and now I look like a daggum baby. I mean, look at me. You know. Anyways, so I got to start over. Sorry, Aaron, I let you down.
How long is the hair though? The
On my
rag top.
face?
The rag top.
Oh yeah, it's still pretty lengthy. You know, I still haven't cut that, so I still got that going. All right. Well, we can jump right in. Mark, are you good to do veteran news today?
No, I'm not. I failed
Okay.
miserably on that one.
Well, it's okay. You're driving. I just wanted to double check and make sure that you weren't had anything that prepared. I don't want you to have a wreck or anything.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, that's what we're here for. All right. Military news with Vic.
Well, it looks like we got a pretty big announcement. I guess they're doing a restructure of the American base in Japan. U.S. will announce a major revamp of its military structure in Asia, unveiling a new command in Tokyo as it deepens its tie with Japan in response to China's increased ambition in the region. So, Secretary of State Anthony Blinken and Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin are scheduled to hold talks with Japanese foreign ministers on Sunday, according to reports. So that's today from reporters, where Austin will announce a shift in U.S. forces in Japan. Plan to announce reconstitute U.S. forces in Japan as a joint force headquarters. A joint force headquarters now, not just whatever's there now. So reporting to and it's going to be under Indo-PACOM. So something it was a little raised a little eyebrows on a few people because somebody would think a joint force that large would be at least a 4-star, or would be a 4-star, but it's going to be a 3-star command. So interested to see how that whole new shift in the structure over there pans out. What do you all think?
I think it's very interesting. I didn't know that was happening. But so are they having to build new facilities and those types of things?
I didn't see anything about new. I'm sure that's all coming.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, basically they're trying to extended deterrence is the motto. But the military of the U.S. Already hosts a military base with 54,000 American troops, hundreds of aircraft. But they're basically trying to solidify the hold in that region. Cooperation between Japan and South Korea. So we're trying to solidify everything going on over there. Yeah, so
probably a good idea to do.
Yep, 3 nations signed an agreement to institutionalize trilateral cooperation, according to the report, which will include sharing of real-time North Korean missile information and increased joint military exercises.
Wow.
So trying to posture up and show basically solidarity in the region with South Korea, Japan, and the U.S. Because obviously Russia and China are starting to get, climb into bed together. So
yeah,
Japan's just trying to do everything it can not to get invaded.
Yeah. Let's hope it doesn't go like it did several years back. World War II and all that craziness. Let's hope it doesn't go to that.
Well, I don't know if anybody else is going to talk about. I don't want to step on Aaron's toes with current events, but this whole situation I mentioned a couple weeks ago, last time I was on about China and Russia climbing in bed, and some of their stuff that they're doing. They're poking the beehive, to see what our responses are going to be. And with Russia trying to invade Ukraine or trying to invade Ukraine right now, take it over. And now that we have, obviously an incompetent president in office right now, and somebody that's just as incompetent running for the ticket, what is China going to do with Japan? I don't know. It's getting a little scary over there.
You would think that, if it were me and I was looking at potential who's going to take over the U.S., I'd be looking at what do I need to do to go ahead and secure whatever it is I need? Because if Trump gets in office, he's going to push back hard. And then if, it ends up being Kamala and she does it, well, I don't know how much of a difference that will make. But they want to get it done, especially because of Trump, the potential of him coming back.
Yep. So yeah, more to follow.
And Japan has got to recognize that China is doing the same thing that Japan did 100 years ago with going to other countries, getting all their natural resources, taking over certain areas, everything like that. Same thing China's doing right now. And China's in Afghanistan getting all that, all those metals that they're down in Africa, building alliances down there, getting all the natural resources, the rubber, the wood, the fuel. They're in South America doing the same thing. They're basically doing the same thing that Japan did 100 years ago.
Yeah, very true.
So Japan's got to recognize that and know that it's and China has vowed that they will get revenge for the rape of Nanking when Japan went in there, just slaughtered all the people of that city.
Yeah. They were pretty brutal, when they went through and was conquering different areas. It was crazy brutal stuff that they were doing.
Horribly brutal.
Yeah. Wow. All right, Vic, you got anything else?
Nope, that's it.
That's it. All right, sounds good. Well, we can move on now. Current events with Aaron.
So, one comment on that, they will definitely absorb some resources from IndoPACOM, meaning money, some focus, basically. So U.S. Forces Japan or whatever. I'm sure they were already receiving some, but this becoming a joint force headquarters, they'll consume a little bit more, if that makes sense to everybody. Probably more deployments as well.
Oh yeah, very true.
So current news, we're all watching the news, keeping track what's going on with the election and all that. We all know, Kamala is the anointed one, I guess, and I guess is going to receive the nomination without one single vote. We're all tracking that. But I wanted to shift gears a little bit, and there was another attack by Hezbollah into Israel in the Golan Heights that killed 12 children. And Israel vowed they will respond. So obviously, this is the first largest attack since October 7th. That being said, I won't go too much more into that one, but I want to include in that while I was looking into this, I found a video of a TikToker that went to the West Bank and interviewed a bunch of Palestinians. And while he was there interviewing, massive support for Hamas. Massive support. They all support. They love Hamas. With the attacks that happened on October 7th, and these are just the ones he interviewed. Obviously, when he got in there, he basically got intercepted by some Palestinian men, and then they started gathering in force, and they told him, hey, you got to delete this video footage. And he deleted all that they allowed him to, or made him delete, basically. Right. And he kept very little. But that being said, they fully support Hamas in Palestine. To me, they are complicit in terrorism.
Yeah.
So, the problem I have is, when Netanyahu came to speak to Congress, Kamala rather go to a damn sorority meeting somewhere. And instead of, showing, I guess, her support for America, like she should do as vice president and represent America or the United States, she decided a sorority meeting or conference was more important than the prime minister of Israel. So I'll just kind of leave it
because that's where she's shooting for her votes.
Say that again.
I said because that's the majority of where she is angling to get her votes.
Yes.
With this, what was this Zoom call? It had how many supposedly thousands of people on it and all that, with women that are all supporting her with just because she's a woman.
Yeah, that's what's killing me is like people are voting for her because she's a woman and she's not white. She's Indian and Jamaican. So she's, African Jamaican descent, which I kind of looked at. Her heritage does descend from slave owners, so she's pulling in a lot of support via that means, without people taking into account her policies. But the Trump campaign has already vowed they're going to highlight all of her failures. So, hopefully that works. But we'll see. And our brother JD Vance lit her up in his speech. It was pretty funny.
Really? What all did he say?
What have you done to support your country? I basically, to summarize it, he said, I raised my hand, I joined the Marine Corps, and I went to Iraq for my country. What have you done for yours?
Yeah. So, wow. Good for him. Yeah, the more and more I hear about JD Vance, the more impressed I am. I haven't heard anything crazy, at least so far. I'm sure there's something out there somewhere, but
there's something about some name changes he's done when he was growing up and later on in life when he got married and everything like that. That's what some of the libs are trying to push onto it.
Yeah, I seen some of that too. But
So you're saying he changed his name
He
growing
did.
up?
Yeah.
Barack Obama did the
Hmm.
same thing, so
Oh,
I mean-
exactly.
Yeah, good point.
he comes from a single mom background, and he's open about that. My mom was addicted
Right.
to
Right.
drugs and so on and so forth. So what gives? My thing is they're going to twist everything. So kind of back to
Yeah.
the first part of this about the attacks from Hezbollah and the support for Hamas in Palestine. Israel's right off the bat. Like, that's the problem with the left, is they think that, oh, we can all hold hands and sing Kumbaya and everything will be fine. That's not how it works. You literally have to destroy those people for the attacks to stop.
True.
And
Yeah, I
the
would
left
agree
don't
with that.
see it that way. Oh, unless you're
Cannot cohabitate with a viper.
yeah.
Say it one more
and
time, Mark.
You cannot cohabitate with a viper
Yeah, that is true. Yeah,
or coexist in the same space.
right. Yeah, that's a good point. Holy cow. All right, Aaron, you got anything else for us?
Oh, there's plenty for current events, but I'll leave us with that one.
All right. Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay, we'll go to good news stories with Mike.
Good news stories. I got you.
Thank you.
No problem.
You're always looking out for me, except when you're talking crap about me.
I've never talked crap about you. How old are you again? Like 20 with no hair on your face? What the hell is that?
Wow. Yeah, I lost some hair.
He lost his arm.
Yeah, kind of like the awning.
Yeah, his
As a
face
theme.
and his RV is clean shaven.
Oh,
Okay, maybe not.
that was pretty good. That was pretty good.
The
How long you been
stuff
thinking
that
that one
Andrew
up?
has lost.
Yeah.
Send him to. I will have to start the GoFundMe for that now. To actually send him to an actual barber that knows
Yeah.
how to trim beards. And
That is true. That's what I should have done. I should have went in and actually got somebody do something. I'm just gonna let it go. I've decided at this point it's gonna be Uncle Si. Fringed ends, hair, the whole thing. I'm going
all you
all
need is a
in.
good pair of barber scissors just to go around and just trim it up just a hair. You don't have to get into it. You don't have to weed whack it.
Huh? I
No,
missed that class.
Release your inner Viking, man. Like let it go out and then braid it, put the little beads at the end and stuff.
Oh,
that's what Aaron should
Okay.
do. Yeah. Good.
Then he just needs a ponytail with that. That'd be the kicker.
I'm working
right
on
there.
it. We're getting there. We're getting there.
Do ZZ Top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, good news stories. I did find this article. It was a week or so ago, but a university in Nova Scotia, Canada, started a program, and with two of their different labs, within departments within the university, they were able to train 2 dogs to sniff out post-traumatic stress with a 90% accuracy rate when those patients or people or subjects were having panic attacks and things like that.
Wow.
With a 90% rate. They said 2 dogs have been trained to sniff out post-traumatic stress by smelling survivors' breath with an accuracy success rate of 90%.
Your foot. You guys you get home.
That's
we're gonna
incredible.
Have some dinner, okay? Can you turn off that?
Mark's got a hot mic, I think.
There you go.
We're gonna have dinner with Mark soon.
Sorry about that. Can't
You're good.
switch back and forth.
It's funny. Go ahead, Mike.
They already knew that dogs' noses could already detect early warning signs of medical situations like sugar attack,
That's one of them.
like
diabetes and stuff like that.
diabetes, seizures, things
yeah.
like that. But in this study, they had a golden retriever and a German shepherd, and they were 2 of 25 dogs, and out of those 2 that were all trained service animals, those 2 were the ones that they found that were best suited, and they did this training on. But they said that the thing with dogs, and that's why they're good bomb dogs and ammunition dogs and stuff like that, is they can smell out VOCs or volatile organic compounds. But then they said, well, if they can do that, if they can sense, panic attacks, or they can sense blood sugar issues or seizures and stuff like that, why can't they detect, by smelling a patient's breath? So they did a study. Well, they first did the study on that to find out that they made the subjects wear like a face mask, and they had them wear it for a certain amount of hours just on a normal day. And then they studied those, and then they actually brought the subjects in, and knowing a background history on all of them, but what they were told, they put them in situations or conversations that would trigger PTSD attacks or panic attacks and stuff like that, and then measured from the compounds or the chemicals from your breath that were on the mask. So then they were able to take those and train them to the dogs, and they found that the dogs would always hit, these 2 dogs would hit on the mask that was worn during a panic attack, or with people or those that are suffering from PTSD. So they said they still have more studies to do, but they said it's amazing that if they said not every dog be able to do it, but they wanted to start a whole program so that they could start training dogs, and that would be another benefit to service animals for veterans. And they were talking primarily veterans, but it's also people that suffer from PTSD, because there's other things that cause PTSD, traumatic events in your life, or whatever may happen in your past. So I thought that was actually a pretty interesting article.
Yeah, that's a really cool article. And I'm amazed at the ability, one, of the dogs to be able to do that, but 2, of somebody able to train a dog to do that.
Yes.
That to me is amazing.
Yes. But they said that the 2 things that typically spur, depending on what the situation is, you'll have a fight or flight syndrome, or it's more of a trigger effect that causes your brain to start processing differently, like we as veterans. But they said that what they learned, what they were able to isolate, was the 2 hormones was sympathetic adrenomodular axis hormones, like adrenaline, in a fight or flight situation. And then the other one was hypothalamo pituitary adrenal axis hormones, or cortisol.
Wow.
And they said one dog was more attuned to, like adrenaline, where the other one was more attuned to the cortisol. But they said they're both common hormones that are excreted in your breath in situations like that.
Wow.
But yeah, to be able to train dogs, which we all know what dogs can do, and what we've seen it. We all have dogs, and even if you're having a bad day, that dog is still your friend. And that dog sometimes tries to tell you something that you don't even realize. It's like, get away from me, when that dog's like, hey, you need me to be here.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty neat thing. And I didn't realize that there was such a study on it. I'm sorry, I'm scrolling around trying to find what I'm trying to get at here, but there's actually a woman that she joined the study. She has a PhD in biomedical scent detection dogs.
Wow. I didn't even know you could get a degree in that.
No, but she said that's been her passion in life. And when she found out about this study, she said, I have to be a part of it. So
Yeah, I was going to say, my dogs have never been trained in anything, and they're a couple of box of rocks. Comes to list. I've always found it like whenever I start getting frustrated with things, like around the house or whatever, they start getting closer to me and like kind of nudging up to me. And the male dog, he'll sit next to me and lean against me. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, they want to touch you or they want to start pawing you. And at first you think it's annoying, but then, I forget what it's called now, but it's, if you have somebody having a panic attack and stuff like that, in a hospital, Vic, your wife would probably know this, but, they try to, it's like a baby. When you swallow them, you wrap them up real tight. It's a comforting thing. And it's like somebody actually wrapping their arms around you and giving you a hug or that, and just holding it is actually a comforting thing.
I never got to talk about it when we had the other gentleman on, that did that had the dog.
Yeah.
School.
The guy from
north.
Texas. He was in Texas. Yeah.
But he, I have epilepsy, and I had 8 seizures in 6 days a few years ago. And the EMTs had to break down our front door because I was actually on the phone with my nurse when I had one of my seizures. So she called 911. And we have 2 big dogs, Bear and Lila. And I guess Lila was nervous. And so she was like on the sofa when I came to. And I got to quit saying and so she was on the sofa when the EMTs came when I came to. And now even if I yell or anything, she's nervous Nelly now. She gets all wired up and everything. I came to, if we even like raise our voices and talk passionately, football game, yelling, screaming, or whatever, she comes and runs and leans on me. She does all these funny things now, things that she just can't handle. And I don't know if it was the EMTs breaking in the front door, breaking the glass in the window to come to the house or what happened, but she's changed. But she senses me. She stays near me. I don't think she's not but she's not like a PTSD dog or anything like that, but she has changed. She's different now. So if we get loud or we start to argue or yell or anything, she's just she hovers close. She's changed.
Wow.
Yeah.
You don't need a cigar, you need cig of weed.
We do.
Oh, very nice.
Is that legal in South Carolina? No.
She said no.
Or
Noted.
Can have it down here in Florida. So
Yeah, you're good in Oklahoma, but you got to have a like doctor's note or whatever to get it.
yeah, you can get a medical marijuana card down here pretty easy.
Yeah.
With
I haven't tried it.
Being medical.
You're cutting out there and say it again.
Can y'all hear the frogs?
No, but you were cutting out. We didn't hear what you
They
said.
kind of stopped. I'll walk out. Oh, I said a medical marijuana card is pretty easy to get here in Florida.
Yeah.
Very nice. All right, Mike, you got anything else for us?
Well, I got another article here. Unless
Sure, yeah.
somebody else wants to talk about the Olympics or anything like that, or anything else.
No.
I mean, no. All right. Well, this is one I came across last night because my wife sent me the article because one of the doctors she works is OBGYNs in Knoxville was talking about it and showed the article to her. She sent it to me just to see it because we actually do have a friend that does have this, but a team of scientists from Northwestern Medicine and Brigham and Women's Hospitals have finally identified the cause of lupus. Up to this point, the cause of lupus has never been known for the autoimmune disease that affects 1.5 million Americans. I didn't realize it was that that many. You hear about it, but you don't hear about lupus being,
Yeah.
that widespread among people. But in doing, they identified the cause, and in doing so, they believe that they've found a cure, or at least a more sophisticated treatment. They said that the lupus itself involves the body's immune system to attack its own system by causing native cells and a variety of, and causing the cells like skin complications, life-threatening damage to the heart, kidney, and brain. They said up to this point it had never been understood, but there was just a band-aid of medications that they tried, from steroids and things like that, to try their best, that they had some positive results from, but they weren't long-term results.
Right.
But they said they found that those with lupus had higher levels of an infection-fighting protein called interferon, and not enough aryl hydrocarbon receptors, or AHR, which regulates the body's natural response to infection. Said by identifying the cause for the disease, they have found a potential cure that will not have side effects that current therapies have. Even though some of the current therapies prove effective for short periods of time, they do have long-term and devastating effects. It's just, unfortunately, it's like everything. One thing, you got to take one thing, it's not good for you, to cure the other.
Right.
But they said they identified a fundamental imbalance in the immune process of patients with lupus. And with this new procedure, it'll dampen the pathologic autoimmune response. I'm sorry, I'm scrolling here.
So they're not saying that will necessarily cure it. They're just saying that it's a much better treatment or whatever.
It will, and it doesn't say it in here, but I'm assuming it's in the same context that, like, they don't have a cure for HIV or AIDS. But now with medications that are out there, they've gotten it to the point where a patient may always have AIDS, but they've got it to a point where it's almost undetectable or transmissible at that point.
Right.
But they
they came a long way with all that, for sure. That was amazing to me.
Well, you can thank Fauci it took so long for that.
Yeah. But they said with them actually to return the AHR chemical back in to the human body, the molecules, once tested to blood samples, was able to reprogram the lupus causing cells in the type of a cell that may promote wound healing and from damage, and to start to repair the damage that it has already caused.
Wow. That's really cool.
So it'll either activate the AHR pathway with small molecule activators, or limit the pathological excessive interferon in the blood, which reduce the number of these disease-causing cells, which in effect would potentially cure, maybe not necessarily cure, but has the potential to be a cure with further study. So hopefully that's not something that takes 20 years to do, but if we were able to come up with a vaccine in 3 months, then we should be able to come with they should be able to do that. So
well, you think that they would have figured something out for cancer, and they haven't really figured all that out yet still. I mean, they've got treatments that makes it better, but I don't think they've ever figured out how to get rid of
the cancer side of it. I think some of these hospitals try, but then other hospitals and countries don't want to share the information and the data, and it's too I don't know what anybody else's opinion is, but I hate throwing around big oil and big pharma, but there's a lot of money in cancer treatment. And that's one of the big things that, like St. Jude's with children's cancer, there's children get cancers that adults don't get, and there's the funding from the government and everything else for children's cancer is minimal compared to what other cancers are. And that's one thing they refuse to do is hold on to data when they find it. And they're constantly on the hunt, constantly on a cure. You know, they get calls from all over the world. Hey, this is what we've got. This is what we see. And they're like, hey, this is what we've got. This is a new treatment plan. It's less invasive, but we found out it works better. So, and it's a higher percentage. And they'll give that information out.
Yeah, that's a great organization, great hospital.
But it all comes down to, you know, what, you know, the government and dollar signs and who's willing to regulate it and who's willing to control it and stuff like that. Who wants to make money off of it, or is this something, you know, we want to get out there? So.
Wow. You know what I discovered? I had to go to get a prescription filled, and of course, Walmart was the only thing that was open. So I went to Walmart, and they do not accept what is it? TRICARE. When it comes to getting medication, they don't accept it. Well, at least the one here. I don't know if they're all that way, but
yeah, my wife uses Walgreens and CVS.
Yeah, those are the more usual. That's what we usually use. Yeah, that was new news to me. I didn't know that. Knowings have battled G.I. Joe, Great American Hero. You know,
a few years ago, Walgreens didn't accept TRICARE. There was a couple of years they didn't, and then I know they started back. And I do know that Publix here, if it's an antibiotic, you can get it for free. So
no kidding.
It's an antibiotic.
Wow. That's pretty cool. All right. Well, we can move on. We got this week in military history with Krista.
All right. I was a little under the weather because I was out partying hard on my Disney cruise ship and riding water slides and going up and down the adult beach. Probably had a few too many blue moons with orange. But anyway, I've got just a couple little things, and I don't know a lot about this subject, and I was surprised I didn't know, so I was glad to learn a little bit. My spouse knew a great deal more than I did, so he should probably be giving this report. But I'll do a touch on this one. The date is July 30th. First one is 1942. FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, signed the act. It's called the Waves Act, and it was establishing the women accepted for volunteer emergency service. And I'd never heard of that, and I was surprised I hadn't. And it was more than 80,000 women served during World War II for the Waves. And that was an interesting little concept. So I'll do some more research, and maybe we'll just learn a little bit more about it as we go on. The second thing, you gentlemen probably know this. July 30th, 1945, a Japanese submarine sank the USS Indianapolis. Are y'all familiar with that?
I've heard about it. Yeah, tell us a little more.
And I had spoken to you a while back when we were covering the cemeteries about the worst U.S. maritime disaster. This one is also considered one of the worst sea disasters. And we'll go through it a little bit slow so I can kind of cover everything that I have on it. And if you have some questions, I can look it up. I've got a few other points about it. So July 30th, 1945, a Japanese submarine sank the USS Indianapolis. She was traveling from Guam to the Philippines. She had been she had left San Francisco and had been to the naval base on the Mariana Islands. She had just delivered critical parts, the enriched uranium core, plutonium, for the little boy bomb for Hiroshima. And I think there's a movie out there about it. I'm not sure the name of the movie. She had left there and had left Guam and was had left Guam and was heading back for the Philippines. They sank. She sank pretty quick. The captain who was piloting her, or who was her captain, was McVeigh. When they sank in the water pretty quick. Within 5 minutes, she went down. She was totally sank within 15 minutes. 1,195 Marines and sailors died. Originally, around almost 890 hit the water. Now, you guys have heard a little bit about this, that it was the sharks had started eating some of the ones that died, and then they went to the ones who were still alive. There were some issues. Actually, only about 102 were eaten by sharks originally. What happened is they were in the water for 4 days. The reason they were in the water for 4 days without rescue is it was a top secret mission. They were radio silenced. Most of them died from exposure and dehydration and salt poisoning. Unfortunately, out of the 900 that entered the water 4 days later, only 316 were rescued. So that's why it took so long. A plane who had been flying over on August 2nd saw them, and actually that plane did land. When the plane landed, it broke in half. But at that point in time, they had already made radio contact and they had some more sea-worthy planes and ships to come and rescue them. To get some more information. Yeah, they had delivered, that's pretty much what I have on that they had delivered parts for the Hiroshima bomb. Now, a lot of you if you've seen the movie Jaws, Quint, when he's talking about that, he talks about being on the USS Indianapolis and talking about that and being, eaten by sharks. So that story is a true story, and that we don't know if he was necessarily one of those people, but that's where it came from. So that's a lot of people identify that whole story with that from Jaws. And people ask, is the Jaws story about Quint true? Yes, it is a true story. So, but that was interesting. That took place on July 30th, 1945. So, the Indianapolis, she sank. They did find the remains of the wreck in 2017. The co-founder of Microsoft, one of the co-founders of Microsoft, they went down and found the wreck in 2017 and found it. So,
wow,
many years later. But that was just interesting. I didn't know that, and I didn't know when it took place, when they found it. So interesting. There were 2 bombs.
Oh, Krista, you're on mute. I don't know how that happened.
Had it been that way the whole time?
No. It just went on
good. We have to repeat the whole story. That's bad. So, but no, I think there were two bombs. One was called the Little Boy. I'm not sure the name of the other one. One was Hiroshima, and one was, of course, was Nagasaki. But trying to think if there's anything else pertinent that I can really tell you about as far as the crew. Around 300 crewmen died with the ship. That's right. 300 crewmen died with the ship, and the remaining 890 faced exposure from dehydration, saltwater poisoning, and shark attacks. There were very few lifeboats and no salt water, or no food or water. That was a big thing. But by the end of 4 days, only 316 remained. The chaplain, there were some questions. Actually, the captain, he was taken in and court-martialed. And actually, who saved him was the captain of the submarine, the Japanese submarine. He was brought in to testify against the captain of the ship, of the Indianapolis. And in his testimony, he said, no, I would have done this zigzag pattern. I would have done this. And his testimony actually is how the captain of the ship, McVeigh, was exonerated. So if you know anything else about this, feel free to chime in. I'm sorry?
That was because you're supposed to do the zigzag patterns and stuff, right? And they were not doing the zigzag patterns. Isn't that right?
Something to that effect. They were trying to get back as quick as possible. It was a top secret mission. It was under cover of darkness, and there was radio silence. I don't know a lot about this. I just found it out today when I was doing some research. So whatever he was doing, he was trying to get back as soon as possible. So whatever he was doing, that's why they were court-martialing him. So.
And the bombs were named Fat Man and Little Boy.
Thank you. So, but yeah, it didn't turn out the way it was supposed to be. It was wartime. Things weren't, so.
Yeah.
But,
Things happen, right?
The Indianapolis she was commissioned back in around 1931. So she had seen some war, she had seen a lot of movement. She was built for Roosevelt, I think. Roosevelt was, her mission, doing some work with them. But yep. But she didn't really carry the bomb itself, but she was carrying some significant parts for that. So yeah. So that's kind of what happened.
Awesome.
So it was interesting to know. I learned a lot. So yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. That's some good stuff to know. All right. Well, we're getting close to the end. Would we like to go round robin, and do words of wisdom? All right. We're gonna start. We're not starting with Vic this time, because we'll start with Krista. Krista, words of wisdom.
Okay, hold on. I've got it. A wise person should never divulge the loss of his wealth, distress in his mind, malpractices at his home, or that he has been cheated or insulted. And that is an Indian Sanskrit by Hitopadesha.
Very cool.
It means if you've been cheated or screwed over, you don't tell your neighbor.
Yeah.
Keep it home.
All right. Vic, you got some words of wisdom, or are you just going to do your cigar review? What is that here?
Both. My words of wisdom is the bad news, time flies, but the good news is you're the pilot.
I like that.
My cigar, very nice cigar. It's got a smooth, earthy taste to it. But the retrohale was interesting. Probably the sharpest retrohale, almost like some white pepper in it. But on the back side of it, nice and sweet. So it's a very nice cigar. If you are a mild to medium smoker, or smooth, kind of smoker, I would highly recommend this. This is the CLE Signature Series. Oh, and awesome. The construction was awesome. I don't know if you guys noticed, I kept holding up the ash, and the ash was getting like 2.5, almost 3 inches long. So, I mean, it's overall well-constructed, very good, nice flavor. Highly recommended.
I think it was the secret wacky tobacco in it.
Maybe. I mean, I don't feel any different, but we'll see.
All right, Aaron, what do you got?
So I know the light's kind of dim here, and I know y'all can't see mine, but I had to look up the description on mine. According to Neptune Cigar, a medium-bodied smoke with a creamy, woody, nutty, and sweetness profile. Its USA Connecticut shade wrapper cloaks a Mexican binder and a Mexican and Dominican Piloto Cubano filler. Once rolled, the Macanudo Cafe Cristal, I call it Cristal, it's crystal, cigar is placed in a tube to protect its delicate wrapper and preserve its rich flavors. It's handmade in the Dominican Republic. That being said, it is smooth. I'm not a cigar smoker, and I don't know anything else about cigars, but I can smoke this one, so I like it.
And that's all that matters.
And that's all that matters.
Very nice. I like it.
All
right.
Words of wisdom.
Go ahead.
In to our current vice president, you cannot escape the responsibility of tomorrow by evading it today.
That's good.
Truth.
That's good. Yeah, that was really good. All right, Mike, what do you got?
Well, the first thing, Aaron, is yours coming grape and cherry? I don't think so.
Okay, you got me there.
That's what I would do. I would love it. Nice.
Words of wisdom.
We got about the younger generation too. I got it. Yeah.
What's that? What's that, Aaron?
I said I get it. We got to think about the younger generation too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Words of wisdom. Clothes make the man. naked people have little or no influence on society.
Wow.
That was Mark
Okay.
Twain. Mark Twain.
Was it?
I like that one.
Hey.
Clothes make the
Yeah.
man. Make naked people have little or no influence on society.
Yeah, that's good. It's true. Yeah. Yeah. All right. It's time. The man, the myth, the legend. Mark.
So I would imagine, just like Vic's cigar had like a earthy taste and everything, I almost guarantee that any of those cigar-shaped objects I could have picked up and lit would have probably had an earthy taste to it too.
Yeah.
But I will never know.
Some may burn better than others, but you
Yeah.
never know.
Yeah. It's true.
So words of wisdom. If at first you don't succeed, do it the way your mother or father taught you how to do it in the first place.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Can't go wrong with that.
Nope.
Yeah.
That is definitely
Man.
words.
Yeah. That's good. I like it. All right. Well, hey, thanks for coming on. Thanks for joining. It's been fantastic. We're going to do this again in the near future. So, yeah, good times. Good times. To all the listeners out there, if you're struggling, you need help, anything like that, the VA does have some great resources. You can dial 988 press option 1. You can also text 838-255. Crisisline.net. Click on that chat icon. Any of those are going to be able to get you in contact with somebody that can help you out. But remember, one veteran life loss is one too many. I care about you. The crew cares about you. The whole entire veteran community cares about you. So please reach out for help. And if you're out there and you're not struggling, just remember your fellow Marines, soldier, sailor, airman, not spaceman. What do they call it? Guardian. Thank you. All of the servicemen and women out there, reach out to them and just ask them how they're doing, because it's amazing how far people will or how good it is for people to have somebody reach out and say something to them. So please reach out. All right, with that, that's all we got for this week. Thank you very much. And to all the listeners, stay motivated, change your socks.